Welcome back to Foeonthefights. This is my UFC KattarvsEmmett review show where I'm going to be going over my picks with you guys and the fights and my thoughts on them. We went 9-4 tonight. I was on a roll because I was at 6-0. I was like, this is going to be the one I go perfect on. Nope, it wasn't. A fantastic night of fights, though, nonetheless. UFC always delivers. And we're going to get right into it with the first fight of the night, Roman Dolidze versus Kyle Daukaus. Okay, so Roman Dolidze KOs Kyle Daukaus in the first round. Daukaus might have a possible broken orbital bone because Roman landed a strong-ass knee and pretty much crumbled Kyle. And I didn't see Kyle standing there when they raised Roman's hand, so he must have got shipped out of there pretty quick to go get some medical attention. But we got that one correct. I picked Roman Dolidze, the underdog. He was only 19% picked him. I don't know why. You guys must not know much about MMA. But anyway, second fight of the night, Phil Hawes against Deron Winn. Got that one correct as well. I picked Phil Hawes. 90% picked Phil Hawes. Deron Winn was a huge underdog. Basically, Phil Hawes beats a durable Deron Winn. I mean, Deron took a lot of shots. I mean, it was a great fight. Super great fight for the second fight. I mean, oh my God, all these fights were great from the get-go. Lots of early finishes. This one went into the second, I think. Maybe the third. Definitely the second. But, yeah, Phil Hawes looks like a possible problem in the middleweight division. The guy's physicality is crazy. He's not super long or super stocky like Deron Winn for the weight class, but yeah, he just his chin's almost too good, too strong for his own good in Deron Winn, and you could tell DC was it was kind of hard for DC to call that one because he's friends with Deron. They're at the same gym. They've been friends a long time, and but he did a good job, and yeah, it's kind of sad for Deron, but Phil Hawes is a beast, and it was a pretty good fight for the second fight. So we were 2-0 on that one. And then we have moving on, Eddie Wineland versus Cody Stamann. We got that one correct. Easiest pick of the night, in my opinion. I've been saying in earlier videos, I think Eddie Wineland should have retired by now after the Sean O'Malley fight. And if not that, definitely his last loss was a KO as well. And Cody gets a pretty easy victory, and Eddie Wineland took off the gloves. I was happy to see that. As I just said, I've been calling for that. I don't think you should have even been fighting, but, you know, got to make that last payday, and if you win, why not keep going? More money, right? But the mustache, the legendary WC champion, retires from what it looks like. They didn't talk to him afterwards, but he did take off the gloves, so I'm going to assume he's done. And then in the fourth fight, we had Maria Oliveira at 37% against Gloria DePaula at 63%. I picked the underdog, and I got super lucky. This was a razor close one. Maria Oliveira wins a split decision. She came out with a ton of pressure, crazy volume, a bit sloppy technique and not much power. And Gloria DePaula had excellent defense and was landing the more significant shots. But Oliveira had a lot of blitzes, flying knees to no really avail early on. And she had DC pointed out her square stance. It was kind of odd to see. And a lot of movement. But eventually DePaula gets her to the ground at the end of the second round. And then Oliveira came out talking a lot of smack, sticking her tongue out, like she was all being macho in there, like, I want to fucking fight, you know what I'm saying? And then that was in the first round. She was doing a lot of that, and then I think it was in the second, Gloria starts coming back at her. She's like shaking her fist, sticking her tongue out at her. It's like these girls are getting at it. It was a pretty fun fight. But then Oliveira got the takedown in round 3, which I think ultimately sealed the deal for her. And we got that one correct as well. And moving on. Holy shit, what a crazy finish. Next we have Ricardo Ramos versus Danny Chavez. I picked Ricardo. Don't worry, at the end of the video, I'll show you my picks so you know I'm not just a fucking liar. I picked Ricardo. He was a big favorite in this one at 81%, but he gets the KO with the very, very spectacular spinning elbow. I mean, there's only been, I think, 5 now in the UFC finishes with spinning elbow, and he has 2 of them now. And he kind of like is just beautiful. You have to watch how he set it up. He looked like he was dipping for like a level change or like a body shot, and then he just keeps going with the momentum, spins, lands the elbow in the most perfect spot, and Danny Chavez is just pretty much out right there, and he can't recover. And Ramos gets the win, and that was a fucking one of the best finishes of the night. So many finishes, in fact, there's a pretty decent commercial break after the Ramos knockout. And then next up, we have Jeremiah Wells versus Court McGee. I picked Wells. This was a satisfying pick because I knew Court McGee had the ways to win if he would have went forward and used his grappling, because he's just a grinder. He's an old Midwest grinder fighter, veteran. I don't think he should retire. I mean, I don't know. He didn't look that good, but I don't think, it wouldn't be crazy to see him fight a couple more times maybe. But Jeremiah Wells, let's talk about him. This guy is a monster. His technique didn't look all that good in the first round until the knockout, but also it's funny. While I'm watching, I noticed Joe Rogan in the crowd. I saw him. I believe he's sitting with his wife, and he is looking at his phone. And I'm sitting there looking at Joe, looking at his phone. I literally blinked, and Court McGee was on the ground, out cold. Jeremiah had won, and I had the thought to make a short of it, and I posted it. Got 1.8 thousand views, which was fucking nuts. That's like viral for us, right? We only got 33 subscribers, which I'm also grateful for. I wanted to shout out the couple people who subscribed today. It means a lot to me because I'm taking this seriously and trying to get more viewers. So I'm not just doing this for nobody, but yeah, it was funny. I just like kept refreshing. It just kept going till about 1.8 thousand. It kind of leveled out, which is fine. I mean, that blew me away. But moving on. So I got the first 6 correct, and then the next fight is when I had my first loss. Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Natalia Silva. I went with Jasmine. She was 90% picked her. And Natalia Silva was 10% picked. I couldn't find much research on Natalia Silva. She doesn't even have a picture on ESPN here. But when they were doing the walkouts, they said she won 6 in a row, and I'm like, oh God, I wish I'd have known that before I made my pick. But anyway, let's get into this fight. So it starts out, Jasmine's looking bad. I mean, she gets dropped in the first round, survives, and then they clinch up. And they clinch up, and she survives to the second round. She's not utilizing her 68-inch reach, which is outrageous for the weight class. And Silva's looking super fast and crisp with her kicking and strikes. 0 head movement from Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasmine's looking slow and fatigued by the second round already. Strikes aren't really working for her, so she goes for the takedown and gets controlled. Almost finished. I mean, she was like 1 elbow away from the ref stopping it. I was like, oh, come on, keep fighting, because I picked her, obviously, but it still didn't matter. Silva had her hands down. She's landing at will. Just looked like she was having the time of her life out there. Jasmine could not touch her, and she's just like picking her apart like they were on 2 different levels, which was crazy because Jasmine was such a high favorite in that fight. And so that's the wrap up of the prelims. I went 6-1 on the prelims. And then the main card coming up next, I start to lose. So here we go. Next up, I got this one right actually. Adrian Yanez versus Tony Kelly. I like to call him Baby Masvidal because he just looks kind of like Masvidal, like a young Masvidal. Anyways, Adrian Yanez wins with TKO. The ref should have saved Kelly a bit sooner. Maybe I kind of had flashbacks of Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida, where like Yanez was like hesitant on, should I keep hitting this guy or is it over? Did I win? And in the beginning of the fight, Kelly started out looking pretty good. Rangy combos. He's using his length and some good kicks, but Yanez, he starts timing those kicks with a left hook. His technical boxing won him this fight, in my opinion. And Kelly, he's a dog, but Yanez just proved once again he's on a different level with the boxing. I'd like to see him and Sean O'Malley fight, and I believe Adrian Yanez takes that. And then moving on, we have Julian Marquez versus Gregory Rodriguez. Okay, this is the one I got wrong. Right off the start, it's looking bad for Julian. Rodriguez is landing hard and early. Julian has one hell of a chin, but the human body can only take so much. Gregory Rodriguez is a scary dude. Each punch he landed was significant. I feel bad for the Cuban Missile Crisis, Julian Marquez. He's a good dude, but man, I like Julian. I root for him a lot. Seems like a nice, simple guy. But Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop, man, hats off to that guy. He's a monster. I'd like to see Rodriguez versus Phil Hawes next. I called it here. Hopefully we see that next. 7-2 at this point. Moving on. In this one, we have Damir Ismagulov versus Garam Kutateladze. Got this one incorrect. I picked Garam to win, which was a risky pick at 18%. 82% picked Damir Ismagulov. And we have Garam Kutateladze. He's a Georgian Viking. And Damir, his nickname is Kazat or Kataz or some shit like that. Kazak. Qazaq. I looked it up. It's in Turkish. It means the digger, which really, that's his style. And he's got a tick or like a Tourette's thing or something. And I don't want to seem like I'm not making fun of him, not at all whatsoever, but it is something I noticed like 3 fights ago of his, and the commentators, even Brendan Fitzgerald, is like, Damir seems to be fighting something in his right eye, because about 200 times during the fight, he would go like this. His eye would lock up, and he would twitch like this in the middle of the fight about 200 times. And I'm like, if only Garam was southpaw, he could just hit him, time that whatever he's doing, and just fucking rock the shit out of him and drop him, get the win. I don't know why he didn't try that. Maybe because he's Orthodox and he just didn't have the power on that side. But yeah, it was like kind of distracting at one point, and I was surprised Brendan Fitzgerald said that. Like, this guy's always done that. Every fight I've seen him in, he's doing this. No, I'm not making fun of him. It's just something I pointed out. And it's like, why not use that to your advantage? If the guy's eyes closed, he's not going to see what's coming on that side. I don't know. That was just my take on it. But it was a pretty good fight. Damir wins it. It's super close. I mean, Garam could have won too, but in the last 20 seconds, he lands a knee to the chest of Damir, and Herb Dean stops the fight, takes his position away. Garam was on top with 20 seconds left. I mean, he could have fucking won that fight if Herb didn't mess up the foul. I mean, even DC and Dominic Cruz were saying that was a great legal strike, not a foul. But nope. Herb gives him the warning, says that you fouled him, makes him stand back up. They finish on the feet. Damir Ismagulov wins. The digger gets the dub. And then we have Joaquin Buckley versus Albert Duraev. Buckley's the underdog at 44%. 56% picked Albert Duraev. I picked Buckley here, got this one correct. He wins by TKO. He lands a hard left kick in the first round, and then Duraev counters with his own high right kick to the head. Both eat the shit, but then Buckley lands a hard left hand that hurts Duraev a little bit. Beautifully timed kick to the face as Duraev's on an entry. Then Duraev gets the takedown. Crazy swelling in his fucking eye. Buckley gets back to his feet and puts some damage on him. And then I think it's after the second round, the doctor steps in and calls the fight because Duraev's eye is literally swollen shut and hanging out like an inch. It's pretty gross. I made a short of that. You can check it out of Buckley winning. And then we have one of my favorite fighters, Kevin Holland versus Tim Means. Kevin Holland with the Darce finish lands big right hand in the first round. Fight off a few takedown attempts, showed his improved takedown defense, mutual respect after the fight. Kevin had me worried for a sec. In the first round, he lunged in again, rushing for the finish, got taken down, but this time he was able to return to his feet. Really showed that he's worked on his takedown defense and was able to get the dirty bird out of there, Tim Means, with a Darce. I mean, pieced him up on the feet, and then he just like beautifully fell in the position for a Darce. And he had it on for about 5-6 seconds and got the tap. And then after he won, Kevin Holland, surprisingly, I saw a tweet where Bilal Muhammad says Randy Brown versus Kevin Holland next, which would be a good fight. Both are super long for the weight class. Both like to strike, so it would be fun. But you know what? Kevin Holland doesn't play fun. He's an athlete now. He's trying to get fucking real champ status eventually. So he calls out Sean Brady. I mean, this blew me away. Did not see this coming. Excuse me. I mean, why would Kevin Holland call out Sean Brady, one of the best grapplers in the welterweight division? And Kevin Holland's known to have trouble on the ground and with the grappling. I mean, yeah, he showed improvements against Tim Means, but Tim Means isn't Sean Brady. But I will say Kevin could piece him up on the feet, and I'm rooting for Kevin in that fight if he does get it. But I just think it's dangerous for him. I don't think it's a very smart fight, but I'm riding with the Trailblazer. Black man. Black man. That's Kevin Holland. Funny ass dude. He's funny as shit. And then we are finally moving on to the main event. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to keep it under 20 minutes. Here we go. Got the Kevin Holland one right, by the way, but on we go to Calvin Kattar versus Josh Emmett. Man, this was a close, super razor close fight. I mean, I picked Calvin Kattar. I was hoping he'd get the nod, but ultimately they gave it to Josh Emmett. It landed the harder, more powerful shots. Calvin Kattar landed more shots, but Calvin didn't really get dirty, really get gritty in the fight. He had some moments, but he didn't follow through with them, and they kind of slipped away from him. His boxing looked technical, but he just couldn't seem to land anything significant. He was pawing his jab out at Josh Emmett, and Josh Emmett is a tank, and he kept just tenaciously coming in with those hooks, and they both did damage. I think Josh Emmett looked more damaged at the end of the fight, even though it looked like Josh Emmett landed the more powerful shots during the fight. But yeah, it was a great fight. Awesome main event. Sucked Calvin Kattar lost. Probably my favorite featherweight right now. I'm rooting for him just because he's just a blue collar, tough ass, gritty boxer. But I mean, he needs to throw some kicks into his game. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we went. Let's go back to the top. We went 9-4. I'm gonna scroll through for you guys so you can see I'm not lying to you. I'll show you my credibility. Okay. Hope you can see that. The green means they're correct. Okay. 1 correct, 2 correct, 3 correct, 4 correct, 5 correct. That's 1 wrong, 1 right, 1 right, 1 wrong, 1 wrong, 1 right, 1 right. Main event wrong. And then we had Cowboy and Joe Lozon canceled. And in my honest opinion, I think they both should retire. I mean, you guys had this fight scheduled twice now. 2 times you couldn't make it happen. Basically because both of you are old. I mean, I don't know if that's the reason Cerrone pulled out, but it's definitely the reason Lozon pulled out. I mean, the guy, he just took a seat and his knee locked up and wouldn't loosen up. And I knock on wood, my knee is fucked and I can feel where he's coming from. It's pretty bad pain when your knee locks up. It feels like you need WD-40 in there. But anyways, that's my picks and my instant review of UFC Fight Night. Kattar versus Emmett. I went 9-4. And if you want to check out that short video of Joe Rogan lacking on his phone during the Jeremiah Wells knockout, feel free to do that. And thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed the card. Thank you to the new subscribers, new viewers. Subscribe, please. If you're going to watch my shit again, you might as well. And I hope you all have a good night. I'm about to try to hit the sack. Peace out.